Hi, and welcome to the You Recommended This podcast, episode 5. I'm Harry.
And I'm Deal.
And last week, Dale recommended that I watched and reviewed the film Up in the Air, and I recommended E.T. for him. So if you're ready, Dale, I'll just jump straight into the Up in the Air review. Ready?
Yeah.
Good. All right, so this is written and directed by Jason Reitman, based on the novel of the same name by Walter Kern. It managed to get a whopping 6 Oscar nominations, so I was looking forward to this, hearing about that, and obviously I really like George Clooney, Anna Kendrick, and Vera Farmiga. Is that how you say her last name? Farmiga? Yeah. So yeah, I liked this film. I actually liked it. Very good. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't like outstanding, but I thought it was like pretty good. It kept me interested the whole way through, and I was like invested in the characters, which is like the most important thing, really. I wanted to see how it turned out, and I'll talk about it later, but I was very happy with how it turned out. What I didn't realize was how many like great actors were going to be in this film. I knew nothing about Jason Bateman. I knew nothing about Sam Elliott and J.K. Simmons. And Sam Elliott and J.K. Simmons, like they were only each in it for like one scene or 2 scenes, I don't know, but they just stole the whole film for me. They were so good. Like both of those scenes were absolutely incredible. Do you remember seeing those scenes from when you saw it?
Yeah. I watched it recently.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So yeah, enjoyed the characters. It changed like direction a couple of times.
Yeah.
So that was also quite cool. Had some heartfelt moments, some pretty sad moments, and bittersweet moments, especially. Well, we'll talk about that in spoilers. The cinematography, editing, sound design, things like that were all. I didn't really notice them, so they didn't really blow me away or anything. It was more about the characters. I think the focus of this film wasn't that artsy or anything, but that's fine. So yeah, I'd say overall it was a solid movie. I'd probably give it a P out of 26, something like that. So yeah, I don't know. What did you think about it? I'm glad you recommended it to me though, because I will just say George Clooney was fantastic. So
Yeah. I really like it. I think that one of like from watching it again, I feel like one of the biggest flaws for me is I think it takes a bit long towards like the last act. Like there's a lot of things like with his sister's marriage and like a lot of things with Veer from Farmiga's character that like kind of forgets about Anna Kendrick for a while and like kind of
yeah,
as you
that's
say
that's what I was like.
yeah, and it kind of like from on the second watch because I've seen it, it kind of lost me a little bit for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But no, like I feel like it's definitely more like I wanted to recommend it to you because like I know that George Clooney is such a like big actor, I feel like that's a performance in a role like of his that people should just see because he kind of like owns it, and he makes like because when you meet him at the start, like I don't know about you, but I kind of thought his character was not the most likable.
Yeah.
But like as you get to know him and you get to see like all the different sides to him, you know, when you realize he's much more complex than
Yeah, and that's something I know we both like is like a good character arc, the growth in a character, and I don't know. I can't really talk about this without going into the ending, and I don't want to talk about the ending if people are listening to this and haven't seen it. So, is there anything else you want to say before spoilers? Just if you've got anything else.
No, just the delights of seeing all those like the supporting cast. You're like that was what my thoughts were as well, and I quite liked like the idea of the film, like the actual story. I
Yeah,
thought it was quite unique.
yeah. It was like an escape for him. So what the film's really about is about George Clooney's character. Can't remember his character's name. He's sort of addicted to. He's trapped himself in a job that really minimal. It reduces the chance of him ever making meaningful relationships. Um, he's kind of abandoned his family. He doesn't want to get into a serious relationship or anything, and he meets Vera Farmiga's character, and this kind of changes everything for him. At the same time that his job is threatened, his the job he has is threatened, the role that he's going to have in that job, meaning he might not be able to fly so much around the world. And it's just about how these two things change him as a character by the end, which I really liked actually. And it's quite topical actually because his job is to fire people, and it's quite intense to see. Or it made me really think about, with the coronavirus going on right now, how many people have had to have been let off. It's
How many people have had to have that difficult conversation?
yeah, and it just you
And it
can
just
see,
sucks.
and this is especially apparent with J.K. Simmons' role, where he plays someone who's being fired, and he really knocks that scene out of the park.
Yeah,
Really, a really great scene.
yeah, he knocks everything out of the park, doesn't he?
And I really like Sam Elliott as well.
Yeah. On my second watch, I'd forgotten that he was in the film, and then he
Yeah.
showed up as like the captain. Ah. Um,
Yeah. All right. Spoiler warning for the next minute or so. The ending is pretty bittersweet. There's a twist, isn't there? Vera Farmiga, her character is she has a husband and a family, and she didn't really take her relationship with him seriously. And this comes as a bit of a shock after she just spent the weekend with him at his
yeah,
sister's wedding. It's kind of messed up.
it is. Yeah.
But he's still changed. He's still changed by what's happened. He just doesn't get a happy ending.
No.
And I really thought that was realistic.
Yeah.
I,
Definitely.
I thought that was a really clever ending, because quite often people do change, but they don't get that happy ending. More often than not, probably.
Yeah. No, you're right. It is realistic. Like, I'm glad also that it kind of ended like that, and he has kind of just, you see the hand, and he just kind of like moves away from his suitcase, and he's just staring up at the board, like, where do I go next? I'm back to like kind of
Yeah.
where I was, but I'm different now. Like,
Yeah.
um,
So I did like that.
yeah,
But like you said before, it's not the best film ever, but I'm really glad you made me watch it.
yeah. I also I liked his the way his analogy of like the backpack, what's in your backpack changes like throughout the film. It kind of demonstrates the shift in him as well.
Yeah, how he
when
can't
he's doing those meetings.
and he can't go through with it. At the biggest booking he's had,
Yeah,
he can't go through with it.
yeah, because
Yeah,
cause at the start he's like, "What's in your backpack?" Like, put it all in there, like.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Also, Anna Kendrick, George Clooney, and Anna Kendrick, George Clooney, and Vera Farmiga all nominated for an Oscar, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, which was, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that they were all nominated. Cool that I didn't know that she had an Oscar nomination,
yeah.
so that's really cool. So yeah, that'll wrap up the Up in the Air review. Thank you, Dale. If you would like to get started on ET.
Yeah. So E.T. obviously directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Released in 1982. So from the last time we spoke, you said that you predicted that it was a film that I had watched when I was younger, and I haven't checked it off yet. That because I
Yeah,
haven't watched it again.
which was the same thing that happened to me as well until a few
Yeah.
years ago. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't actually know it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So E.T. Released 1982, directed by Steven Spielberg.
John Williams.
Score by John Williams. Um, so it's about. I think most people listening will probably know the story anyway.
Yeah,
But
I think just
a
go
little.
full on spoilers for this one because I think everybody has seen ET. Do you think, or would you rather not?
Yeah, nah. Well, we can go ahead with that. Yeah. So
All right.
basically, yeah, there's an alien, an extraterrestrial, kind of like arrives on Earth. Him and his mates, like on a spaceship, and he gets stranded. Okay, he gets stranded. Behind, like gets left behind, and he befriends like a young kind of troubled boy called Elliot. Um, and then Elliot decides to take him in and keep him a secret from the rest of his family, but eventually then decides to let his brother and sister in on the secret, but they keep it from their mom. Well, actually, sometimes they try and show mom, but mom's just like so busy and just seems really stressed out that she doesn't even really pay much attention to her children
I
for
like that. Yeah.
for a lot of the film, yeah. And she quietly goes through her own arc too, but we'll get into that as well. Um, so yeah, E.T. from when you first meet him, he kind of like I think it's really genius the way that you can kind of like feel the warmth and like the innocence of this extraterrestrial, like as soon as you kind of encounter it, like and in some ways that could be really terrifying. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
and if it was portrayed differently. But like
Yeah. No, I get
get
that.
that
Yeah.
feeling from the direction that straight away that like you kind of like empathize and like kind of feel that warmth from the character, and then um, becomes friends with Elliot, the little boy, and it's just really, really like beautiful. Like it's such a like heartwarming, like sad but emotional tale of like just kind of like friendship and innocence and loss and like there's so many things in it with family as well, like and
Yeah.
around that. Like this little boy Elliot has got this attachment with ET, and it goes. I forgot about this. Like I had no idea, but it even goes further. This attachment, like they kind of have like ET has these sort of powers, like cognitive powers that like is really demonstrated in this one scene with the frogs in school, and they're wanting to kill the frogs so they can experiment on them. And then ET's back home, and they have this sort of like telepathy between Elliot and ET that he decide like he has to like release all the frogs. Um, and then it's even explained further then whenever ET is ill and Elliot becomes ill as well. Like so they have this bond.
Yeah.
And as I said before, like Elliot has you can kind of see that Elliot isn't really the most popular, and he's sort of withdrawn, and but this experience is so huge for him. But yeah, there's so many little things that become revealed throughout the film. Like you realize then, like towards the end, like the mom makes a comment about how she's just been separated from Elliot's dad.
Mm-hmm.
So like that has all been going on in Elliot's life as well.
Yeah.
So it's just this ET came at the right time, and I think they had such a bond. And it's funny as well how like the like NASA and the government are kind of portrayed as like the antagonists, like the villains, and they come in their big space suits, and it's like the way that it's shot and directed and is like really like foreboding, and like they're like really scary, and like whereas they've made ET the actual like alien is like the one that we're the innocent one that we're on board with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's really
it's like another perspective because I
yeah
know this sounds crazy, but in real life, if an alien came down and was hiding in a little boy's closet, you'd be like, the government needs to go in there and find out what that thing is.
Yeah. We need to like lock down that house. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
but it's just a completely different perspective and how you can make decisions on things you think are okay, but without knowing everything. And there's always that aspect in these movies that I really like, is that the kid's innocence. He knows the truth, but the adults or the government, they're not willing to listen.
Yeah, and that you're right. Like, that is, you see that in so many films, especially from this period. Like,
Yeah.
80s, 90s films. Like, a lot of that, like, that's another thing about the children as well that I felt. And I know I said this with the Florida Project. Like, it brings you back to like childhood, like, and the innocence and the believability of things, and like just that, there's quite a pureness about it, that like he just sees the goodness in ET, and we do as well. But and we don't know. You're right. Like, we don't. You get from one perspective. Like, it just shows you that like you look in on something from one perspective, and it's just completely different than what you see. Shouldn't judge. So no, I really enjoyed it. I had a really nice experience of rewatching it. There's loads of things I didn't even remember. I completely forgot, and it's so stupid that I completely forgot that Drew Barrymore was in this film.
Yeah, she's the little girl, isn't she?
She's so recognizable. But yeah, best performance by Drew Barrymore. She was brilliant. She was really good. I really liked all the actors, all the child actors as well. And the acting of the mum as well. I don't know whether that was singled out or anything, but like, she was really, really good. Because there was so much going on with her that wasn't really.
Remind me, do you know who plays the mum, or is she unknown?
I did look it up. And I can't remember her name.
Okay,
now.
yeah, that's
cool.
Yeah,
but yeah,
she's great. Yeah,
and
obviously Steven Spielberg. It's Steven Spielberg. He's just got. It's one of his best movies. Like, he's. That's the reason why he can make a film like that. Jaws, Schindler's List, Jurassic Park, Munich. Like, anything, that's why people say he's the greatest filmmaker of all time.
Yeah,
because he can make. It's like I heard a lot of people say this about E.T. is that it has that movie magic, that feeling you get. It's like movie magic. I don't know. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I definitely felt that. You can definitely feel that Spielberg kind of spell on the film.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg has got such a Spielbergian kind of directing, and it was quite nice to see some of those iconic shots that you see so much, like, in the context of the film again, like from an adult's perspective.
The moon, the bike and the moon.
The bike and the moon, yeah, it's so nice. Something so like cool and like confident about that. I don't know what it's like.
It's pretty amazing that with the music and the filmmaking, it becomes so nostalgic and so epic.
And it, like, I had a feeling it was gonna be emotional, and like it would make me, because I knew that E.T. went home at the end, like I remember that much. But it really did hit me hard.
Yeah.
Really, like, you really, really care for the character of E.T. And the bond that has developed between him and Elliot. And do you know what I really liked as well? Like, the imagery of like the sun, the flowers. Like, when they when they die and then they regrow again when he comes back. And then he takes, and then it's really.
Honestly, I can't remember that part.
It's like
it sounds good.
Yeah, it's like whenever the flowers are dying at the start, right? And it's kind of, I don't know. Like, I was just thinking, it symbolizes like Elliot's like own what's going on in his life now, and then E.T. comes and they kind of like bloom. Like, E.T. makes them bloom, like these like this pot of flowers. Then when he like gets really ill and dies, they die, and then when he comes back, then they bloom again. But E.T. takes the flowers with him onto the spaceship at the end. That's the only thing he takes with him, which was a really really nice little touch. I like that. No, I really really enjoyed it. A lot better than what I remember. Like,
Yeah.
and it is really nice to experience like these films from childhood again that you haven't seen in like a fresh lens, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like films that you've seen as a child but not as an adult. It's like it's like the memory of childhood. It's like faded away, and it's weird that the films are kind of like about that as well.
Yeah,
Like how you lose that innocence as you grow up, and that memory. I don't know. Just a weird little note there.
yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
not weird. I think it's some things that a lot of people will agree with and like will
Yeah.
experience. Like it's made me want to watch like a lot more of that now. You know,
Mm.
I feel like it's something that we need.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you had to give it a score on any scale, what would it be?
E. No, I would give it like it's really hard to give it a score because like I'm
Yeah.
trying to like think about what I'm judging it on.
You don't
Uh,
have to give it a score.
I'll give it a score. I'll give it like a, I'll give it an I'll give it like a I'll give it like a 7.5
Out of 7.5. Cool.
out of
Right.
out of 13.
No, okay. Moving on. Time to pick a recommendation for next week. So every week on this podcast, we each pick a film for. So I pick a film for Dale. Dale picks a film for me that we know each other haven't seen, and then we review it again on the following episode. Okay, so who wants to go first? I don't mind. I'll go first. Oh, you go first. You go first.
Oh, I was saying you go on, but
Okay, fine. I have picked a film that I've only seen once, so I'm definitely going to rewatch it this week as well. But I remember thinking, blimey, this is a seriously good film. It is Cinema Paradiso. I know you've probably heard of it. Do you know it?
Yeah. I've gone to watch it once and got sidetracked, and then here we are.
Oh right, so okay,
yeah,
cool. Directed by, I can't even say his name, Giuseppe Tornatore. I don't know, Italian.
That's impressive. Well done.
And it's just a really, really, really good feel good film about the love of cinema, and I think you will love it. My prediction is you will love it. Maybe you'll hate it. I guess we'll have to find out.
Tell you,
but one thing I just absolutely love in this film is Ennio Morricone's score. It's just it's just out of this world. It's so great. So yeah, there we go. Cinema Paradiso.
Look forward to it. Yeah, that's cool. I think hopefully it's on Netflix or Sky or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Cool. Look forward to it.
Right. Now I'm eagerly awaiting what you've got for me.
Oh, okay. Well, this is like I don't know. I just felt like I had to pick this one partly because it's got two actors in it that I really really like, especially at the minute. And they play like a father and son based on a true story. Okay, so it's about the story of David Sheff and Nick Sheff.
Right.
The film is called Beautiful Boy.
Is that with
Yeah.
what do you call him? He's
Steve
playing Paul. He's playing Paul Atreides.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Steve Carell and Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy Chalamet. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Blanked on his name there.
they play a father and son in the film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was released in 2018. It's directed by Felix van Groningen. I can't really say that properly, but yeah, it was his English language debut.
Oh, cool.
So it's based on memoirs by David and Nick Sheff. And basically, Timothy Chalamet plays Steve Carell's son. It's about their father-son relationship and their struggles, and it's really about drug addiction.
Yeah.
And it is quite a tough. Like there's times like it's really like I think it's a brilliant film, and I feel it's a really really important film if you like want to get a better understanding of addiction, and like the person who is addicted and their story, their perspective. So yeah, I just think it's something that you would really enjoy and that you should watch. And plus, it's got some of my favorite actors. So, like,
yeah, no, and Steve Carell, he's been doing a lot more of these dramas, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I respect him so much at the moment. Like,
and obviously Timothy Chalamet is like one of the most exciting actors right now as well. Yeah,
everything he puts his hands on is just fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm really looking forward to that. It's one that just slipped through the cracks for me. So yeah, really glad you've brought that one up.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on Amazon Video, Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, cool. Easy watch then, because I've just got Amazon Prime. Really cool. All right, thank you for that. And now we shall move on to the next section of the podcast, which is news, movie news, gaming news, any news that we want to talk about. And today, it is the 12th of June, as of recording. Last of Us 2 reviews have just come out. And a little bit nervous with the leaks and everything, whether this was going to be a good game or not, because we both haven't been spoiled, but it seemed like it was getting a lot of hate, so that obviously made us a little bit nervous. Yeah. And as it stands, let me just give it a good old Metacritic search.
Get a fresh rating.
The Metacritic score is high 90s. Yeah, 96 at the minute. 96, which is extremely high after 79 critic reviews.
Yeah.
And that's not like Rotten Tomatoes showing like the percentage of people who liked it. This is like an actual score, an average score that it's been given.
That's
it's ridiculously high.
Yeah.
That's like sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, if it stayed at 96, surely that would put it in some of the top games of all time, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's up there with like critically with Red Dead 2, some of the Zelda games, God of War, those type of games that are all just extremely well received by critics. I have no doubt in my mind that this will get review bombed by the public when the user scores open, just because it's getting so much like hate. I don't really get it because we've not been spoiled, but
I don't know. I don't know about the lot of leaks, but I have a theory about why it's getting some hate. And the theory I have about why it's getting hate actually like infuriates me, but I'm not like. But like obviously I can't. Really...
Well, I've read comments about it saying things like, I don't want to get too political or talk about give absolutely terrible takes at the light of day, but people are saying because it's got a kind of social justice warrior kind of feel to it that it's which I don't know, how can you judge something without playing it is beyond me. If you play it and you feel like it was really forced and that's your opinion, then fair enough, but you've not played the game, so yeah, it is infuriating. But I don't know whether that is directly tied in with the leaks or not.
Yeah, and there's things about, yeah, I'm not, whenever we've played it, I guess we can talk about it a lot more. But no, and there's just a lot of that though now. It's just like, oh, here we go, like another, review bombs, or let's try and completely like just bring this down. Like it's like the Captain Marvel was similar. Like it's just,
yeah, it's like it quite often revolves around taking something out of context. Like, fair enough if you want to review bomb something for a legitimate reason, because it sends a pretty good message to the creators or the developers that they've done something wrong. For instance, microtransactions, that quite often gets heavily review bombed on games with lots of microtransactions, like FIFA and NBA. You take something out of context, like the Captain Marvel Brie Larson comments. She did say something that infuriated some people, and it was just then snowballed out of proportion.
Yeah.
To what she really said. And I've got a feeling it's probably the same here. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe
we'll
not.
Have to see. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Maybe a bit of overlap, but
I'm sure that this 96% on 96 average on Metacritic's a very good indicator, though, that it's probably going to be quite an enjoyable experience.
It'll do all right. Yeah. So yeah, the game is out a week from today, June the 19th.
And you've pre-ordered it, right?
Yeah. Actually got an update from Amazon that it'll be arriving on June the 19th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably play it.
Really excited about it.
Yeah, like because the first The Last of Us, like it's been a while since I played it.
Yeah.
Probably like around the same length of time that like between the two games, which is cool. Anyway, I'm like,
yeah.
So the same amount of time has really passed, which is going to be quite. So I feel like in my head it'll be kind of quite satisfying that like it'll be going into it, and they'll look probably a little bit older, and it'll be like time has passed, and it'll be like revisiting their story again at this moment in time, which sounds a bit sad, but like
no, it's not. It's not. I like that kind of thing as well. It's exciting
because little things like that like will just make the experience of playing the game cooler. So
yeah. And I did I scanned through. Oh, I'm not playing it on release. I'm going to hopefully get it in July for my birthday. So that'll be when I play it. What was I going to say? I scanned through a few reviews and listened to a couple non-spoiler reviews. And a lot of them were saying just how it improves on the original in virtually every way.
Okay.
I mean, the story was pretty perfect in the first one. So if some people are saying that the story's even better, that's really cool, and that Ellie's arc is really, really one of the best that has ever come out. So looking forward to it. Absolutely looking forward to it. It's like the PS4 swan song. It's kind of like how The Last of Us 1 was the PS3 swan song. This is the PS4 swan song. It's just like the best possible thing you could make on this generation, because it'll have the best graphics. It's got the most budget and time and effort put into it. Not saying anything bad against other games, but this is like top tier level stuff, at least from the trailers, at least, and Naughty Dog's previous efforts.
Yeah. That I quite like that. I hadn't thought of that before. That like the swan song of the PS3 was The Last of Us. Like,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so exciting stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to add?
I was just thinking. Yeah, The Last of Us Remastered was my first game on the PS4 that I played. So
because we were both Xbox 360, weren't we?
Yeah, and I think I'm PlayStation to stay, but we'll talk about all that. Like,
well, that leads us on to our next topic. Good transition there.
Yeah.
Is the PS5 event. PlayStation 5 event was last night. Yeah, so we saw quite a lot of stuff actually. Now I've come to think about it, I think they really knocked it out the park and they showed exactly what needed to be shown at this point in time. They revealed a certain number of larger games, a certain number of indie games, all looked fantastic, and revealed the console. So, what were your initial thoughts on the look of the console, and then what were your thoughts of the event overall?
Yeah, the console to start with, I was like, I'll just say, like, I was really shocked. Like, it was not what I expected at all.
No.
And I don't know whether like that is a general thing in the public that nobody really expected that design.
No.
Like especially like the striking whiteness of it as well.
Yeah.
Like and the swooping up. Like I saw
It's got the fins on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a comment like comparing it to Sauron's tower from the Lord of the Rings.
I saw that.
I kind of thought it was like like it coming back like as like PS5 the white kind of like so like it's I like it, and I quite like the idea of like what you get with it as well, like that the kit, like the little like media remote and like headset and everything.
Well, quickly I'll jump in there. On the headset, they have spent apparently just as much time working on audio improvements, and with that headset, it's going to be like the equivalent of 4K Dolby Atmos, in your ears, so that the sound that you hear is actually distance. You can hear if a rock falls away from you 3 meters away in the game, it'll sound like a rock is falling away from you in the right direction within those headphones. And what they were talking about as well, which is really ridiculous, is they can actually tailor the headphones to your ear to make it even more accurate. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying before that? What were you saying before that?
I was just rambling on about the controller and the remote. I quite like the idea of it having 4K as well. Like I feel like I was like, yeah, that'll be my way of having like a 4K player, like 4K.
Oh, like for Ultra HD Blu-rays and things like that. Yeah.
Like if I ever need it, then I've got it there.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you that the look of it was quite. It's not conventional.
No.
It kind of looked super futuristic. One thing I was worried about was like, how well is it going to age? Like, I don't know. Like in 5 years' time, is that going to look stupid? I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. It might, the novelty of it or like the kind of style of it might wear off quite quick. And also, like I had thought about it, and then like I looked at my PS4 and where it is currently in my house, and I just thought that would look ridiculous slotted in there, like my PS5 was in there, like
well, have you seen
like pointing out, like
yeah. I think it can go. I think it can like tilt sideways as well.
Can it?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it can.
In my head, I was looking at it thinking that would look so stupid lying in there. Like just, what is that?
Yeah, and they have, I don't know if this was like on purpose or not, but the front where the two kind of fins come in like that, it's like in a V shape, which is obviously Roman numeral for 5. I don't know if that was deliberate or not.
Has to be.
Yeah. But it seems like it's got like where the two fins are, there are fins down the side for cooling, and it seems like part of the design is affected by how they're actually cooling the console and having a big fan at the bottom, I think, and it's just pulling air through both sides, so it gets air surrounding everything within the console, because the specs that this thing has, like they're saying that it's got more power and the capabilities are better than any PC right now. So PC gaming, which is always a few years ahead of console gaming, they're saying that the PS5, for the first time ever, consoles are higher specs and can play better quality games than a PC right now. So I'm not surprised that the cooling of the thing is just absolutely, it's changed. It's like they've changed the design quite a lot there.
Necessary.
Yeah.
No, that's quite good to know.
Yeah.
And the fact about the computer, about the PC.
Yeah, and well, Xbox are claiming that theirs is even more powerful than the PS5.
Yeah.
By like a third or something. I don't even know. But what PlayStation have that's better in their console that Xbox do not have is this ultra fast SSD drive. And I think going on to the event, you saw the Ratchet and Clank gameplay, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know how they were jumping between worlds?
Yeah.
How he'd go through a rift into another world. Like the entire level would load. It's already loaded. That's what the new drive means. So you can actually hop between those worlds, full planets, without ever seeing a loading screen. So that was kind of a little tech demo there of like how quickly things can load and how good things can look. So wow. That's quite exciting.
Yeah. What did you think? What do you think about the idea of there's like two versions? There's the digital and the.
Yeah. Well, I think the digital one's going to be a little bit less expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to change the hard drive or the if they're going to change the hard drive or anything for that, if it's going to be the same specs for both console. But if you get rid of the disk drive, it's obviously going to cost less to make the console, so they can retail it at a lower price, which I think is quite important because I think Xbox they're rumored to be doing the same. And it's like if the PS5, like the high-end, most expensive one that most people will want to get, is like over 500 quid. You're gonna need something that's a little bit cheaper to offset that. If Xbox come in with a lower price than the PS5, then they can put their digital edition lower than the Xbox. So it's kind of a cat and mouse thing that they're playing. Because obviously no one's going to be able to. I mean, worst case scenario, it's 600 quid, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's steep.
Yeah. I think it'll be probably 500 quid, or what? I could see it being digital is 500 and the main one being even more than that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what were your overall thoughts on what was shown, like the games that were shown?
Yeah, like they're pretty cool, most of them. Like I didn't really know much about what was even going to be revealed. The like the Ratchet and Clank did stand out for me as one of the ones that I thought, do you know what, I actually would consider buying that or playing that.
Have you ever played a Ratchet and Clank game?
No, that's the thing, and I know
they're so fun. They're so fun.
You and George that used to tell me how good it was.
It's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And that's what that one looked like too. It looked like a lot of fun. Like
also, you loved Spider-Man, and it's the same developer, so.
Yeah, and speaking of Spider-Man, that was right out of the gate. That was the first one announced, and I thought, oh yeah, like that's great. Because I'm a big fan.
Exclusive to the PS5, so you can't play that on PS4. No Miles Morales on PS4.
Well, I guess
so. If you want
PS5, then. No, I like that because I really like Miles Morales in the first game too. Like you get to play as him in the first Spider-Man game, like you know that. So cool. Sign me up for that.
Would that be something that would make you want to buy the PS5 then?
Yeah, you see, like it's part of it. Like it comes in a bit of it. Like it
Yeah.
depending on how long it is and like how I suppose I would like look at, is it necessary? I'd probably have to do a little bit of research to see what like how long the tie-in is.
Yeah.
But then you see, I suppose didn't you say it's like or did I read earlier that it's meant to tie in with like a remaster basically of the first one, like for PS5, the first Spider-Man
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So you see,
And
I would play the first one again.
well, I think what they'll do is, I'm almost certain of this because other games have done it, is that you'll get the remastered Spider-Man plus the Miles Morales storyline, but you'll be able to start from the end of. You'll be able to pick it up at the end of the main game straight away and carry on straight into Miles Morales.
Yeah, I did think that, but like I don't know whether like they'll offer like a digital download of like just the Miles Morales part or something.
They might do. It's a good shout.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would want that option. So, but I don't know, money. So
yeah, exactly.
But quickly on Spider-Man news, there is some Spider-Man movie news that's come out this week, and that is that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 has started production, according to Sony. So, how did you find the first Spider-Verse film?
Yes.
Did you like that?
Yes. Can't wait. Like it's such good news. Loved the first one. Like I really, one of my favorite films of that year of 2018. December 2018, I think it came out. It was such a treat and a surprise.
Absolutely. It was really cool animation style.
Yeah, really cool, and the way it like weaves in and out of kind of comic style.
Yeah. No, I've got a lot of time for that film. I want to rewatch it actually. So the fact that they're making a new one, it's great.
Yeah,
more. Just give us more, please.
You said similar. Then you really enjoyed the first one.
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Especially like one thing that always stands out to me is like the design of Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
I remember just being like so confused by it.
Tiny little head and a huge body.
It's quite funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's happening. So that's really exciting. Also, there was one last thing I wanted to touch on with the PS5 event, and something that's got me really excited is Horizon Zero Dawn 2, or Horizon Forbidden West, I think it's called. I've not played the first one yet, but I've got it. I've got it waiting here at home to play, and it's supposedly one of the best PS4 games that has come out. So, kind of an open world, futuristic, where everything has gone so far in the future that it's gone back to tribes, and that robots have actually kind of evolved to look like animals, which is really a really cool idea. That robots, if they became sentient and whatever, they kind of evolve in their own way to become like real, like to mimic real life. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that, and the trailer for the second one looked so good. It just really got me excited. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, something similar really. Like I'll be honest, like I don't really know much about the first one at all.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was even going to be a thing that was going to be announced. Like
That's good.
Not an avid follower of like gaming news.
But I feel like that perspective is the vast majority of people who are watching this. And yeah,
it piqued my interest. I'll give you that.
Cool. No, it's exciting times. Right. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to touch on before we move on to our main topic of the day, which is going to be something that I think we're both very excited to talk about.
Yes.
It's just we're going to be discussing Lord of the Rings and what we love about it. As the greatest films that have ever been made.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I second
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's definitely not an opinion.
Yeah, no. If anyone argues this, like, just get lost. No, just
Stop listening right
yeah.
now.
Off this channel. See you later. No.
But no, let's definitely move right into this now.
Yes.
So Lord of the Rings. I think we're just gonna freeball it. I haven't really planned out anything to say. So, aside from these movies are something special. Just everything about them, the filmmaking, the acting, the story of how they got made, the music, just the detail. It's just the atmosphere, especially. It's just very, very epic. It's just if I think of the word epic, I think of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I can completely see that. I feel something similar. Like, I don't know how much more epic you can get than like the scope of like Return of the King as a film. Like, it does things in like a part of that film that like are just wow, and then it just does it again and again and again. Like,
yeah.
And then it ends about 30 times. So yeah, Lord of the Rings. So we're we've kind of had it brought more into our consciousness. We brought it out a lot more recently because of the Reunited Apart episode with Josh Gad.
Yeah, good shout out to that as well. Because if you happen to be listening to this and you like Lord of the Rings, you've probably seen the Reunited Apart episode. If not, 100% watch it, because it's
Watch
so.
After this,
it just brought me so much joy.
Oh, yeah, I've watched it twice.
I really love all the actors and all the people involved in making the film. They're just so cool, like the coolest people.
They are, and like it just felt like, if I had worked with people, or like I had had friends that I hadn't who I'm really fond of, and we all got together on Zoom later, and like it just felt like that would, that they were just a group of people that like really care about each other, and they had such an amazing experience, and only they really know what it was like.
Special to them, yeah.
And whenever like you go through something with someone, and like it's something amazing, and like someone who is there with you knows the same thing, then you have that kind of, you can like you talk about it and you're kind of like, we were there at the time, like we know how special that was. Like,
yeah.
That's what it felt like. Like it was like this massive,
like when we traveled the north of Thailand or something like that, like Pai or something. Like we know that was so epic.
Yeah.
And all those people we met, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, and if we came back onto Zoom with everyone now, it would, it would be something similar. Like it would be just obviously not to that scale. Like I just mean like the feeling. Like we filmed something like that. But like no, it just like, and that's something about like the Lord of the Rings. I feel like that really elevates the film for me. How much I love the cast and the chemistry that they have. Like with the chemistry of the four hobbits in particular that you meet like towards the start of the Fellowship, and and it's also quite it's quite sweet as well that like Billy Boyd and Dominic Monaghan are like best friends still, like
love that
from their time as Merry and Pippin. It's really cool.
Love Dominic Monaghan as well. He's so funny.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was really funny in that Zoom call actually.
And whilst we're talking about like the people that created it, Peter Jackson, who obviously kind of half winged it. He kind of half winged this film, but he had a vision and just he got the message across to everyone else who was making it what the vision was, and they managed to pull it off perfectly. But he very kindly documented the filmmaking in such detail that it's just such a treat now to see how it was made and watch the bonus features.
Yeah.
And like he said in that interview, he gets as many compliments about the bonus features as he does about the film.
Yeah, but like, have you watched a lot? I watched a lot of the bonus features at the time when the DVDs and the blue the things came out.
Yeah.
I used to watch them so much. Like I remember hearing the stories about like Orlando Bloom breaking his back, and like before and how they capture everything. Like they capture I don't know if you probably have seen this. When Sean Astin like is running into the lake with
does he cut his foot open? Yeah.
They said apparently they said that they got someone to check the whole lake like before, but the one like bit of glass that they had missed was the bit that Sean had ran into, and then they had to get him like airlifted out in a helicopter. Little like things like that. They capture everything like on
Sean Bean climbing a mountain instead of getting in a helicopter.
It's so funny when Peter Jackson said that. Like he looked out and it was like Peter, like him in like full Boromir costume, like climbing, like
scaling a cliff.
Scaling a cliff, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch them at some point because apparently like they had the first film done, but the second and third were not completely planned out, storyboarded. They were still like after the first one was done, and they were still filming them as they were going along. Like they had to do like hundreds of reshoots to get things right, and the initial cuts of the second and third films were not that great, and it's quite, and how they managed to turn that around, like just as they were making it, to just keep adding new ideas, rewrites, and and pickups, just to create something just so epic and perfect.
Yeah, it's like
it's just genius.
They describe it, don't they, as it felt kind of like an indie film shot in New Zealand, like
yeah.
And like Peter Jackson would just like off the cuff just like come up with like a new idea or a scene, or like have something written down, like, or like pull out the actual Tolkien book and like go, we're gonna try this bit now from like it's just
read that.
Read that, and we might film that now in about 20 minutes, like or like what I thought was really funny, whenever like that he explained that like Sean Bean had like the lines on his knee during the Elrond Council of Elrond,
and he looks down like
he's like looking down like it's a gift, like
it's a gift. Really like that.
Yeah.
All right. I want to talk about what is your favorite of the three. I can't choose between. Well, I used to say the third was my favorite. Then I started saying the first was my favorite, and now I just kind of say the whole thing is one film, and I just like that. Is it as one, just from start to finish? It's my favorite. I don't know. Are there certain parts of the films that you like better than others, or part 1, 2, or 3 stands out to you?
Like every time I think about it as well, like I'm like you, I flip between the first and the third. The first just means like it's just epic as well.
It's just like a group, and a group adventure.
Yeah,
it's like,
and like the whole Moria sequence is one of my favorite like sequences of any film ever. Like,
agreed. That's top 3 kind of moments. Like, just from the moment they get trapped in to the moment they leave.
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Yeah, like that, because it starts off with like they're trapped in, and like Gandalf, you just see his face illuminated in the dark, like we now have but one choice. Like, and then like they go, and then it's like come quietly, and then it's like really tense, and like it kind of, and then it's even got the character development of, like Frodo and Gandalf, and that amazing like iconic moment now, like that they did again in
In the Zoom
the
chat,
Zoom.
yeah.
Oh, right, hit you right in the.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. But
I
yeah,
wish this
we
had never
agree then
come
that
to me.
like, yeah, I wish none of this had happened.
Uh,
So we agree then that Moria is one of the top points
yeah,
of the whole trilogy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also, like, the Black Gate
Mm.
/ Mount Doom sequences.
I know.
Just the entire intro with Hobbiton.
Yeah.
There's so
Um,
much.
but when you think about the Black Gate part and all of that in Return of the King, that's quite late on, and then you think about what actually came before that in the film, like the whole
How
sequence
far
of
they've come.
Shelob, um,
Yeah.
and like the Osgiliath, like the Palinor Fields, um,
You've
like
got everything that happened at Isengard in the
yeah,
second one, and everything that happened at Helm's Deep and Rohan. It's like within 3 movies, you've basically seen an entire world play out with characters in every part of the world, all with meaningful character arcs. Epic, the epic scope of it all, the atmosphere that's created with a lot of the cinematography, editing, and music, sound design. It's just like, I don't know, there's something pretty. What I really like about it is the feeling of darkness in it, like when Pippin touches the seeing stone. Yeah, the what's a Palanthea? Is
yeah.
that? Yeah, yeah. He grabs it and he's like, it's just like a really dark and twisted mood that the feeling of the movie. I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's like it's really like an immersive kind of trilogy, isn't it? Like there's some
Mm,
points where like I remember watching it even when I was younger that I feel like I'm actually like in it, like I'm there.
yeah,
Um, like just little things like at the start of the Return of the King where like Gandalf and Aragorn are having like that chat and Merry and Pippin are like dancing on the table and all. It's like just that feel that still gives me now watching all of that. Like
mm,
it's like this. It's filmed in it's like done in a way that like it's like this actually happened in the past at some point, or like or this happened somewhere else.
yeah, yeah. And maybe Tolkien actually had a portal in his brain to another dimension and just documented it down, and it really did happen.
Yeah.
Um, um, I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
Anyway, I can't remember what I was going to say there, but okay, Howard Shaw's score, the
Uh,
greatest score of all time.
I mean, I would argue that, yeah,
Yeah,
possibly.
there's definitely an argument there.
There's a lot of points you can make about that. Yeah, I've actually been listening to it a lot more recently too. Um,
Actually, yeah, me too. I had the Return of the King soundtrack on in the car the other day. So yeah, it's I tell you what I was listening to, the part where the beacons are being lit.
oh yeah, yeah. I was listening
Yeah.
to that the other day as well. It's so epic. It's so epic.
Yeah.
Ah, and I feel like that is one of the most iconic like sequences ever in film as well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the lighting of the beacons, like
And Rohan shall answer.
yeah, Gondor calls for aid.
uh,
Rohan will answer.
yeah. It, it's oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that I feel like the films came out at the perfect time, like they were made in the perfect place with like the fact that most of the up close like orcs and things are all done with practical effects. Um, that's with the Hobbit trilogy, a lot of them are done with CGI, and it just looks terrible compared to what they did in Lord of the Rings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how a film that came out in 2001 2002, 2003 can look so much better than the Hobbit trilogy, which was 2012, 13, 14, made by the same crew and the same people.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, I know that we've talked about this before, but and I know we're breaching onto the Hobbit, but I feel like that's inevitable, isn't it? But like Peter Jackson, like you showed me that video of like Peter Jackson just really like stressed out on the set of the Hobbit, like where he was like basically like I'm in too deep now, like I've got like no time, like and I've got this mass, like I've now got 3 films. Because I don't know about you, I think we've discussed this before. Actually, The Hobbit probably could have been 2 films.
I think it's the biggest mistake. A lot of people agree with that. That it should have been two movies. Definitely 2. And then just kept all the extra footage for like extended editions and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt so dragged out.
Yeah. Like butter scraped over too much bread.
Oh,
yeah, dear.
Set you off.
Yeah. But no, I just like everything comes together. Just everything, every aspect of the filmmaking comes to create something so immersive. I think you got that right. It's just really immersive. It's pretty memeable as well, which is quite good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to the Lord of Tet Rings YouTube channel. Stupid.
Yeah.
Can
we talk about characters then?
100%. Yeah.
Who like if you had to pick a favorite character, who would it be? I think I could probably guess.
I think it'd have to be Gandalf the Grey. Yeah, is that the same for you?
Yeah, I think it's probably the same for me, but I think that I thought that you were going to say that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's Gandalf the White. He's obviously the same character, but he's got a mission now. His mission is to like defeat Sauron.
Yeah.
Gandalf the Grey, he's there like kind of he's there. He's doing that as well, but he's like more. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. He's. I think it's an Ian McKellen quote. He said Gandalf the Grey likes to boogie down in Hobbiton while Gandalf the White is at war.
Oh, I've never heard that before. That's funny. That's brilliant.
Oh, I need to find the clip of him saying that because it's hilarious. He likes to boogie down in Hobbiton. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got that image in my head of him like dancing.
Yeah. He's got more time for the hobbits.
Yeah.
Although I think you'll agree with me, one of his best lines is as the Gandalf the White is when he's telling Pippin about life after death and what comes like next, or really, really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
I often watch that scene. Not often, but like, do you know what I mean?
Like, every night before
bed. Yeah. So do all those who live to see such times.
Yeah.
But
it's just full. It's full of scenes like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's like only like a 1 minute scene where like they're in the middle of a massive war and like they're beside the gates and like the orcs and like are like trying to like keep the trolls like trying to tear down the door and like they're just sitting there on their little balcony, and it's a quite quick little minute scene, but like that's like what Peter Jackson really pulled off, like all that epicness, but like the quiet little the small things.
Yeah, that's what I'm also. I think that's what we're both talking about, is the smaller moments that you would normally get as downtime in a big epic film. They are quite often the most epic moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Like those character moments are so epic. Like the way the music swells and the camera's moving and they're talking about
Yeah.
what comes next after it's
Yeah, he's like, I didn't think it would end this way. And he's like, end? Oh,
very epic.
yeah.
And how it's intercut between different storylines constantly later in the second and third films.
Yeah, and there's the stuff with like Denethor and like how he's tied into Aragorn, and Aragorn is tied into Gondor, and like
And Boromir and Faramir.
Boromir and all of that. Like it's all, and then Faramir had met Frodo.
Yeah. So, do you? If you, all right, here's a fun game. If you had to pick, whose storyline do you prefer? Would it be Gandalf plus Merry and Pippin, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, or Frodo and Sam and Gollum? I know it's hard. It's just fun. Obviously, they're all amazing, but
if I had
just
to
for a
pick
bit of fun, yeah, just for a bit of fun, if you had to pick.
It's usually Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli.
Yeah,
Like that, and that was how I always felt. Like I always felt excited because I feel like they were always getting into like a lot of the battles and like the stuff with Rohan and like
there's a lot of comedy with
the
Legolas and Gimli. Yeah,
they're in the midst of Helm's Deep. They're like in the paths of the dead. Like there for Moria. Like it's just
Pelennor Fields.
And I absolutely love the start of the Two Towers, especially when you like when them three kind of branch out on their own, and they've got kind of like they've got such good chemistry, like the three of them, like and then no, and do you know what? I have to say as well, like sounds weird, but as I get older and I watch them now, like I kind of appreciate Frodo and Sam's story more. Because like there was some times where I remember, and
this
was
quite dark, isn't it? It's quite dark.
Yeah. I appreciate it a lot more now. But yeah, what would you say if you had to pick between?
Yeah, probably the same growing up. That was always my favorite. But now you do learn to appreciate. That's what's so good about seeing it when you're 10 years older or 20 years older. It's like you get a different perspective on it. And the Frodo and Sam stuff is the darkest because Frodo's being corrupted and manipulated. And it's just kind of like it's just really dark and dreary, and Sam's being cast out aside and to like I don't know. Sam's character is really he really pulls it off in the end. Like he could have given up so easily, and I think it's quite a good thing. Like when he's being manipulated against, and he still pulls it off in the end, and he helps them out.
Yeah,
saves the day.
Perfectly cast.
Yeah, I do really like that. And Gollum is a very, very good character.
Oh, we haven't even touched on Gollum.
And Andy Serkis's portrayal.
Yeah.
Very iconic.
So
yeah. Really, really epic.
Probably, I would argue, like, you know, you talk about characters that we like Gandalf, probably one of the best, like one of our favorites. But in terms of like overall good characters, I feel like Gollum is like maybe number one in terms of like interesting, like, you know, how interesting he is, and like he's
been through,
yeah.
And you even sympathise with him quite a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like Smeagol. You sympathise with Smeagol, but he's like the schizophrenic, corrupted side to him. That's
egged on by the ring the whole time, you know, which eventually overtakes him. It's tragic.
Yeah, because if you think about his storyline on its own, it starts out with him being instantly corrupted by the ring, killing his brother or cousin. Is it his brother?
That's so dark.
And then he just goes off, and it gives him unnaturally long life, and he's like in a cave, and he's like there for 500 years, and he's just being twisted mentally by this like corrupted power. And then by the end, it seems like maybe he could be redeemed, and then he just switches full on corrupted. Like this ring is mine,
Because,
and that's the final obstacle, isn't it, of Frodo and Sam?
and it's like that as well. Like as you were just saying there, like he's lived with the ring and been with it just by himself, being corrupted for years, and then like that's when he finally switches. Is when he sees like that it's a reality now. It's so close to being destroyed. It's right by the fires of Mount Doom. That's when just like goes full biting Frodo's finger off.
Yeah.
And then that's the tragicness as well, is that Frodo, like if it hadn't been for Gollum doing that, Frodo would have been corrupted and like was going to head off with the ring.
Yeah,
he'd been.
Yeah, it's like what's that line of like?
That's
is
so
it Gandalf? I can't. What's the line where he says like I feel that he has a part to play in all of this to come? Or it's like not. It all comes together. All the characters like. They all needed to be there for it to be destroyed.
Yeah, that when you hear that line again, you feel like that's such a cool, like one of the coolest things of foreshadowing, like ever. Like,
yeah, because without if you took one character away, if you took Frodo away, or if you took Sam away, or if you took Gollum away, it wouldn't have been destroyed. You needed all three of them there to get the job done.
And really, you needed like every single member of the Fellowship.
Everyone, yeah. It's just against all odds. They won.
And sorry. You're always what?
Always had like this thing of like not enough of the main characters died. I always thought that, but then now I think about it, like there is a fair few big deaths in the film, like Theoden, he dies, doesn't he? Gollum, Gandalf the Grey, sort of.
Yeah.
Just a few off the top. Boromir, which is probably one of the greatest deaths in film history. That redemption there.
Oh, getting chills just thinking about it.
So there is that sacrifice that's been paid to win in the end.
And they all feel necessary as well. Like Gandalf the Grey's death, like if he hadn't died then, it would have changed things going forward, because that's kind of when Frodo really like decides, if you will, that's sort of like the catalyst that makes him kind of decide that I need to go off here and I need to go off my own. But it's just, and that's the power of Gandalf as well. Like in that, when he dies in that first film, like it is a real sense of, oh, whoa, we've like lost our guide here. We've lost like this.
And they don't meet him again until they're all split up, and like if he had survived it, maybe they would have been able to go all the way together. But
or they wouldn't. Like it wouldn't die. It just kind of things all.
Oh yeah, like you were saying, like he was the motivation. Yeah.
Because it also happened that they were all split up, and then like the others were able to distract at the Black Gate so that Frodo could. And that Sam decided to go with him on their own, and then it was Sam that carried him. Like it's so clever.
We just gotta, I think, shout out that obviously the books are just as popular. As the films, but I've read the first two. I haven't read the third book. They are really good, but I think if you were to translate it into, I prefer the film media than book media personally. Obviously, other people prefer books to films, but like to have that pulled off in the way they did it in film, with all the aspects of it, like the atmosphere and the acting, the music and everything all together. It just feels like such a it almost works better as a film. I don't know.
I think
There's
so.
obviously a debate that you could have there.
Yeah, I think you're right, and like something that sticks out is like the fact that like Shelob's lair is in like the Two Towers book, isn't it? But Peter Jackson decided to move it so that it's more of like a ties in with like Eleanor Fields and like towards the end, like we're in Return of the King. And that works so well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it does. And they really hold up. Fellowship's nearly 20 years old.
Yeah.
Which is all right. I was thinking about this the other night in the shower or something. Shower thoughts. And it was when we were born, so 1994. How far ago? How long has it been since Star Wars came out? Right. So 1977 was Star Wars. So that's like 14, 15, 16, 17 years. So there's 17 years since Star Wars and our birth when we were born, right? The gap is actually now longer between now and when Fellowship came out than when the difference of Star Wars to when we were born. Like,
wow.
So people that are being born now or a few years ago, when they get to like 12 years old or whatever, and they see Lord of the Rings, it'll be like a Star Wars to them because it was like that far ago, and that really messed with my mind. I was just like, "What? Wait, what?" Just kind of like confused. I was just really confused for like an hour after thinking about that.
Yeah, and it's sort of like I have so I kind of get a bit of a perspective, like, because I have some children in my class who are around like 10 years old, and like one of them has said that they've seen the Fellowship of the Ring and absolutely like said how much they absolutely loved it, and a lot of the children like don't.
They won't know what it is probably till they're a little bit older.
Yeah. But like they just don't really know.
I guess Star Wars is like you can watch that at a much younger age than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But
Lord of the Rings is a little bit scarier for kids.
Oh, definitely. But the first Fellowship of the Ring is I went to see it whenever I was at my last year of primary school, or not last year of primary school, but like in primary school, because it was PB.
Yeah.
And I remember not understanding it much at all, really, to be fair.
And that tentacle monster is quite scary.
Yeah, because I remember it being in a book fair, the first book. Then I remember someone, it's so weird I've got these memories, but I remember someone saying to me, like, oh yeah, that film's in the cinema now. And then I was like, oh, I really want to go and see it. So anyway, we went to see it. And I can still remember, like, being in the cinema where I was sat. I can remember, like, Pippin going, like, so where are we going? And then, like, it just cut, like, and then we had, like, an interval. And then it came back after, and it was like the whole Moria sequence, and I can still remember most of that whole sequence from watching it the first time.
Wow.
But like I didn't fully understand it until I watched it like a lot later in my teens.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw the Return of the King without seeing Fellowship or Two Towers in the cinema. So that's how I was introduced, and I remember it quite well. Was in Bangkok, so yeah, was in Bangkok, and I was like, I don't even know how old I was. 2003, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite young. And I remember seeing that dragon's head being cut off and being like, what?
I really have big, like, not big regrets, but like I wish I had seen Return of the King in the cinema. You have yet to see it in the cinema.
Yeah, I know they did some like reruns of it when The Hobbit was coming out, but I never got tickets. But I think we weren't at uni then, and they were doing it. Can't remember.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't prioritize that.
Yeah.
Seems so unlike us.
Yeah.
No, I'm overall like I haven't watched like the trilogy now in about probably a year or so, maybe more. So I'm definitely gonna watch it again soon. Especially after this reunited of heart.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really want to watch it. I've been like trying to decide whether to watch it on Netflix or not because it's not the it's I think it's 4K on Netflix or it's Blu-ray quality on Netflix, but it's not extended edition,
Oh,
and
okay.
I've only got the DVD quality extended, and I don't want to watch DVD quality. um, but I really wish they'd just like release a 4K version of
Is that
Lord of
not?
the
Yeah.
Rings, extended 4K or I mean they've got a Blu-ray for the
Extended?
Lord of the Rings. Yeah, yeah, extended. But I don't know. Like, I wonder how much it costs.
Oh, no.
But yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say? I think we've got about 10 minutes before we're out of time. So
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I think we've covered quite a bit. It's been a good chat about it, really.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about our? We could quickly talk a few minutes about our Red Dead Redemption 2 impressions, or we can save that for another week because we are on nearly an hour and a half now.
Okay.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Would you rather talk about Red Dead 2 in a slightly longer segment in another video? Do you think? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So aside from Red Dead, is there anything you've been watching or playing this week other than ET or Red Dead?
I don't think so. What have I been watching or playing? No, it's just been Red Dead 2, which I'm loving, and no, I haven't really watched anything else significant. I don't think.
Yeah.
I had a lot on
Uh,
work wise, so it's just been a bit of Red Dead when I can.
well, that's good. At least you're staying busy, during this time.
Yeah,
I think work seems to be picking up a little bit, but still affected by the virus. So a couple of things I've watched. I rewatched True Romance last week.
cool.
Top quality film right there, written by Tarantino. Watched Midsummer for the first time, which quite a disturbing film, but absolutely loved it. I don't know. I keep forgetting. I keep asking you this. You haven't seen it, have you?
I have, yeah. I went
You
to see
have
it.
seen it, yeah. Yeah, I keep getting confused whether you've seen that or Hereditary.
It's an uncomfortable cinema experience.
Yeah, it's quite a ultra violent film, isn't it?
Yeah,
I watched. Sorry, go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, there was so many people that were just. I don't think it was the film that they expected it to be when they were in that theater.
Did anyone leave? Did anyone walk
Yeah,
out?
I think there was two people that left. Yeah.
Is that
It's-
during without any spoilers, the cliff scene?
Oh well, I think it was around then, but for me that was even part of where I was a bit like, oh, like that image will never leave my mind ever. Like I'm never gonna unsee that. Like
So horrible.
it is horrible. Like I have to say, like I don't think like I know it's a really good film, it's well made, it's arty, like directed cast, but like do I really want to watch that again? No.
Oh god, that film, man. It's definitely purposely disturbing. And then I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption. No, well, obviously I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption, but I meant to say I've been playing some Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I've really got into. I've literally blasted through about 15 hours this week of Zelda. So
yeah,
I've got to say this though, Breath of the Wild is hands down the most fun, surprising, and that's it. It's just the most fun game ever. Like the way the world works, how you can just, like, for instance, if you set the grass on fire and then you pull your like little parachute glider out and you jump, the heat from the grass that's on fire that you made makes you rise up and then you can fly off. And
nice.
Just like physics wise, if you think something will work, it probably will, which is like really fun. Like really, you can get really creative in the ways you play it. So kind of discovering all that is like really fun. So yeah, I think that'll about do it. That Lord of the Rings discussion was really fun. Thanks for that. We should. I feel like there's so much more to talk about. We could even do that again.
Yeah, I feel like we could go back with a few more in detail points. Like,
yeah,
we could come back to a specific film even.
Yeah, like a deep dive on Fellowship or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. So, yeah.
To be continued.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking on Amazon now. They're about 20 quid each. The extended and Blu-ray. It's quite a lot, isn't it? 20 quid. Lord of the Rings trilogy. Oh no, I want extended. Yeah, it's £20 for the Return of the King. Only 5 left in stock. Oh dear. Right. Yeah, so cool. Look forward to the reviews next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
Speak soon.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
All right. Speak soon. Bye. Cheers.